morning, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from Mason Works Marketing here on Conscious Business Zone with my dear friend, Jeff Cloud. Hi, Jeff.
Hi, great to be connected. So happy to see you again. And thank you for having me on so we can share some good insights here. I'm excited and I'm really grateful to be here.
Me too. And thank you because Jeff is based in Thailand. So we had to really work out the time zones to make this happen. But I'm so glad because I really find that Jeff is one of the most inspirational teachers that I know because he is the real deal. He's had the experiences of clearing the stinking thinking and working his way through. And he's worked with one of my favorite mentors is Don Miguel Ruiz, who I got to work on a couple projects with him as well. So Jeff, this is perfect timing for everyone here that's going through this huge time of change. And your work I just want everyone to know about it so that you can be a resource to them as they're trying to figure it out. What do you say to that?
Well, first of all, I say I'm super honored by your beautiful reflection. I chose as part of my soul contract to go through some pretty deep things, as we all did. And that's one of the keys to not fighting and being a victim, is being open to the fact that I'm a divine, unlimited being. Even if I can't prove that, there's been enough stuff coming into my life and what I've read and what's out there that it's definitely a possibility to be open to. And my experience is, if we're open to the fact that every single thing that happened to us was part of our agreed upon soul contract, then we can do the inner healing, which is the first part of the process that's necessary to be able to manifest, have health, meet the right partner, attract in, magical, powerful timelines. Each one of those dots back there, I represent as a timeline or event. They're all here now. They're not in the future. So we're going to dive deeper into this, and I'm going to do my best to share the tools from the waking up in the dream process. And I want to let everybody know I'm going to give as much information as I can. And usually the mind will go, that sounds pretty good. Yeah. But if we do not go in and dismantle the old limiting beliefs, then it's just more information. And what I found is, with the people that I've journeyed with over the last 20 plus years, the underlying subconscious will continue to run the show. So in the 30-day transformation that I put together, which is either in the book, there's a digital online course with very specific PowerPoint trainings that you watch, so you can observe what the ego does, why it reacts. It's just trying to protect and remain in its false sense of control. And right now you can see it, the 3D matrix, the people that are running the show, that are being removed from power finally, they're doing their best to keep everybody in automatic reaction, fear, and distraction mode. And so you've got to be able to see the program in order to unplug from it. So we're going to talk about this stuff and have some fun doing it. And the other thing I want to add before I forget, because I may, I've got an entire YouTube channel called youtube.com/portal2 TO Awakening, which is the same as my website, portal2awakening.com. It's got probably hundreds, over 300 to 400 hours of free videos where I speak about these tools, the inner healing, dismantling the belief system, which is really basically a prison. If that shocks you, stay tuned, because the belief system is a prison. Our beliefs aren't even our own. And then we talk about consciously creating your reality first thing every morning throughout the day, and then before you go to bed at night, because the majority of people are just waking up and the same 50 to 80,000 thoughts are running automatically every single day. And according to a lot of studies, 80% of those thoughts are negative. Right. And so we've got to begin to get excited about the fact that if we're open to it, that our thoughts, our words, our beliefs, and then the excitement or frequency that we put behind that is what's attracting everything or repelling everything that comes into our reality, our health, our abundance, our relationships, the synchronicities, the magic, the miracles, which really aren't magic and miracles at all. It's just us agreeing to allow that in. So that's enough of an intro, I guess.
Well, the thing that I guess I forgot to say, we were going to talk about moving beyond the constraints and programming of the 3D matrix. So, but that is what's happening right now, whether we're ready or not, here it comes. And what we're seeing is we're seeing that we're getting triggered. We're seeing the waveforms of reality up and down and up and down, and we weren't conditioned or given tools necessarily to take a observer look at it and process any of it. So we're just attracting it over and over again. And you don't want to respond, but you do want to clear.
Yeah.
Right? So could you talk a little bit about that? Because right now in the US, as I mentioned to you, we're going to have elections coming up. There's so much contrast, and the insecurity that the ego is experiencing is flaring up everywhere. And it's fine to say you're creating your own reality, but when you don't have the tools or you don't have the control to change how you process, it's frustrating.
Yeah, this is a big one. So I'm just going to share, first of all, one of my favorite mantras is, I know nothing. When I practice, I know nothing, and I just go by, I tune into the frequency of the information. And I've done enough work around this to know that I don't need to know anything. The ego needs to know. The ego needs to defend. The ego is the only one that automatically reacts. The heart does not do that. And so you're seeing the media and the 3D matrix, they're just doing what they've always done. They're creating separation, Republican versus Democrat, white lives matter versus black lives. It's the same program over and over and over. Be afraid of a virus, which can't even be spread. I mean, it's so mind-boggling that you're either see it or you're in complete denial of it. And I'm not judging where anybody's at, because that's perfect for their own soul's evolution. But what I will speak about is, here's some really, really good news to download. The light has already won. We knew that before we came here. And now it's just a matter of, what do you choose to focus on in every moment? So you know what? I'm from the US, I'm a California boy. I could care less about any election. It's a complete distraction. It's a completely rigged system. If anybody hasn't figured out that by now, by looking at the current not president, who's in his 5th different mask of not even the same guy with the same earlobes, the same nothing. Hello, okay? You either want to be in denial or go, yeah, there's nobody even in the White House right now. If this triggers you, take a breath and go, I'm triggered by this guy right now. He's saying things that are triggering my belief system of what I'm all attached to. Relax. Everything is under control, or it's not in control. However, what you give your focus and attention to owns you. So if you're all worried about an election and you're watching the television, which is programming, which was specifically designed to brainwash you at 30 frames per second with subliminal words in between those 30 frames that you can't even see. Well, I only watch whatever. Okay. I'm not judging. I'm delivering some truth here about what's going on. And if people want to move out of being controlled by fear and by the manipulation of the current system that's being removed right now. And you might say, well, how can you tell they're being removed? You know, it says in the news, the media is all owned by the same 6 corporations. That's how we're in this predicament right now. Trust that they are being removed. And this is not somewhere I usually like to go because I'm not into politics, and you get people that just get all triggered and, you know, they're into their own beliefs. What I can tell you is, if you use these tools and you begin to consciously create your own reality first thing every single morning, and you go to the YouTube channel, Portal to Awaken, and you actually take the time to watch one of my videos and take some notes instead of just going, yeah, it sounds really good. Because that's what the ego does. I bought so many books on Think and Grow Rich, How to Manifest Money, EFT tapping. None of them worked. None of them worked. I spent over 6 figures on 3-day seminars in Las Vegas, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Sedona. There were some good things, and I was all pumped up after a 3-day weekend or whatever. And then a week or 2 later, I was right back into what happened, because they didn't teach me how to go in and clear the subconscious beliefs. And the only way that I found that you can clear a subconscious belief is you must catch the trigger or the judgment in the moment. Every single judgment is about you. It's not about what's out there. The 3D hologram is reversed. It's a mirror of the energies and frequencies that we are holding. Now, somebody might say, if they're paying attention, well, I'm not a pedophile and I'm not a murderer and a rapist. And no, but in the collective consciousness, we've been holding those frequencies for so long that that's still playing out there. And it's our invitation to go and go, I'm going to teach some very powerful mantras right now that if you adopt, they will completely change your life. Yeah. So when we look outside and we see something that triggers us, or we want to have an automatic reactionary judgment to something that goes against our belief system, the key to freedom is to use this 3-word mantra. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? It's completely neutral. It allows you to not be an automatic reactor. Every time you're an automatic reactor, not only do you lose, it lowers your frequency, but since, and this is key, we, as these beautiful divine human beings in these wonderful, incredible suits, we are walking, talking, vibrating magnets in every single moment, whether we are consciously aware of it or not. Okay? So when you begin to wake up every morning and go, wow, it's another beautiful day. All these trillions of cells have been loving on me unconditionally since I was in the womb. What a gift. Mother Earth is just loving on us and providing us with food, air, water, abundance. Today, I'm going to create my reality before I go out into the world and start reacting and judging and comparing. I'm going to walk out today in love, and I'm going to be grateful for every single thing I can find. Even if I wish I had more money or whatever, I'm going to start to name off everything I'm grateful for. Well, I've got this incredible drink of apple cider vinegar. I've got a microphone. I've got a computer. I've got my health. I've got electricity. I've got an air conditioner. I've got a pillow. I've got this little knob in my bathroom that I turn, and all of a sudden this water just comes out, the water of life all over me, and I envision it loving and cleansing my whole body. When you, and you might go, well, you know, that's obvious. Everybody's got that at 9:33. We're recording this right now, but it's 9:33. And I love the synchronicity and signs when I begin to consciously create them. And when you do that, and you begin to consciously create your reality first thing every morning and throughout the day, you will begin to see that all of these timelines that you desire, you'll just be going, wow, I can't believe it. Since I started creating my reality every single morning and before I go to sleep at night, these people are just magically showing up. All these invitations are coming. Abundance is showing up. I feel better. My body feels better. My pain went away that I've had for 4 years. It's not luck, people. You are a divine creator. However, you've been taught in the school system and religion and all these other things to give your power away to things outside yourself. And now it's time to awaken. And the beauty of the squeeze that's happening right now that can be very uncomfortable is It's forcing people to wake up. Some are not going to in this lifetime, and they may have to come back and experience it again. But if you've made it this far on the broadcast, then something inside you going, well, maybe there's something here. Maybe there's something here. And this is coming from a guy, again, that I know nothing. But when I grew up, I had some tough challenges as part of my soul contract that I chose. And in my 20s and 30s, there were several times where I was suicidal. Because I was like, there's got to be more to this life than pain and suffering. And so luckily, I hung in there. The only reason I didn't check out was because I didn't want to hurt my mom and the people that love me. I wasn't worried about leaving. I was in so much pain. It was like, I'm out. So this is somebody, I've never been handed any, well, everything's a gift, but you know, I didn't have the super easy upbringing, and that was part of my soul contract. That forced me to dig deeper. And then when I met one of my main mentors in 2001, he showed me that my belief system wasn't even mine. And that changed my entire reality. Our belief system is a tiny, tiny little prison. And if that triggers you, let's go deeper. Number one, our beliefs aren't even our own. They all came from outside of us. And then we decided from our parents, our grandparents, the school system, which is completely rigged to completely squash a child's imagination and teach them what to think instead of how to think. This is being converted right now to a book for children for the newer school systems. And you're not going to have to go to school for 12 to 16 to 20 years to get in the club and then give up 65 of the best years of your life. So then you can become what? Retired. It's a spell word. Re means to recycle. Tired, you know what that means? These are spells. These were set up by the people that had all their DNA so that they could create wage slave workers to give up the best years of their life. It's real clear when you're willing to be open and look at it honestly. But at first, it may upset you. You may be triggered. You may be pissed off. I understand. But these are the tools. Because if you're triggered and pissed off, that means your frequency's low. That means your internal magnet that's magnetizing everything into your life is going to magnetize like frequencies, like people. So when you begin to awaken and go, okay, this is beginning to make sense to me. Let's start to use these tools. Let's start to consciously and intentionally create our reality every single day. And then let's track our frequency and let's unplug completely from anything that is lowering our vibration or bringing us into judgment. You have any questions or feedback from anybody?
Yes, I just wanted to ask about law of attraction, because there's just so much stuff and there's so many YouTube videos, and it seems that the more we talk about abundance, we're talking about what are the tricks, like tapping or prayer, or do this prayer, and I know you use gratitude a lot. I do too. But I just wondered if what you thought about that, because it seems that it's a phenomenon. I thought with The Secret, when they started talking about law of attraction, that started, and then Abraham always has talked about it as frequency. But now it just seems that it's like missing pieces, or it's like giving you another false paradigm to follow. So could you talk about that?
Okay. Once again, thank you for this, because this is really key. I know nothing.
Okay.
I'm not an authority or expert on anything, except I'm willing to look at my limiting beliefs. I know how the programs work. I know how the ego tries to want to know everything and be right and feel safe, which is, we're hurling through space.
Yeah.
Or maybe we're not. I don't know if the planet's flat or round. I don't care. It doesn't matter. Where is my frequency right now? So when The Secret came out, in whatever year that was by Rhonda Byrne, I bought 11 of those DVDs. I gave them away for Christmas. They had some good points in it, but they left out some really important stuff. Some really important stuff, which leads me to believe, how did it become one of the best-selling, movies of all time in all these different languages? Who's controlling that? Now that my book's being published, I'm seeing that the publishing industry is just like the record industry that I grew up in. It's controlled. It's pay to play. It's who you know. So anyway, little sidebar there, but The Secret did not teach us the tools. I love Abraham because she talks about frequency, okay? The reason why the majority of people have issues with money is because they're holding a story, a belief, or a frequency of either lack or it's difficult to obtain or hold on to. So when you're telling your subconscious every day, now you're not doing this consciously, but if you go in and you look at your beliefs of what your mom told you and your dad, I grew up, my dad died when I was very young. My mom was worried about money. She only got so much from the insurance company for my father's death in an airline crash. And my uncle, who was my father's brother, had 8 kids. So it was like, you eat every last pea on your plate. There's children starving. Everything that I was mirrored was lack, 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 lack. And then I chose, as part of my wonderful training, to grow up in not only the Catholic Church as an altar boy, but also in private Catholic schools. So every day was Judgment Day. Every day was fear-based with a little bit of love sprinkled in back here. It's all programming, okay? If that triggers you, then maybe there's something to investigate there, because I'm not judging anybody out there. I'm speaking about Jeff's journey and why I chose, as part of my soul contract, to go through these things so that I could see the programs and do my best to play a role in undoing them, which is happening as we speak. So back to your question. Lots of questions around the law of attraction and everything else. It comes down to a couple of things. Do you believe that we live in an abundant universe? Okay? I go out every day here in Thailand. There's more dragonflies, there's more fruits, there's more vegetables. We're throwing away tons of vegetables and fruits every day because we can't even eat them. Mother Earth is just showering us with abundance, abundance, and abundance. And she's taking all the plastic trash and all the burning and all the pollution, and she just keeps regenerating out of her love for us. When we talk about abundance, we're talking about, what are your beliefs around it? Do you believe money is difficult? Because if you do, that's what your magnet is set to, and that's what you're going to attract. So just in this short little time, and I have videos on this, hours and hours and hours on my YouTube channel that are free if you'd like to check them out. And if you'd like to go through the 30-day journey, either through the book or the digital online course or one-on-one mentorship with me, I promise you it will flip your complete belief system and the way you create your reality on its ear. But it will free you, and you'll never be worried about money again. Because as long as you're holding a worry about money, you are pushing it away. No matter, you can do all the affirmations, oh, money comes to me easily and effortlessly. I paid for all that. None of it worked. I bought Think and Grow Rich, Wallace Wattles. I studied all the books, and my mind went, every time I'd read a book or two every month, wow, that sounds really good. That sounds really good. That sounds really good. But they didn't teach me how to go in and undo the underlying subconscious beliefs, which is running the entire show. Affirmations do not work, period, if you have a subconscious belief that says otherwise.
Okay, I got to ask a
And
question.
I'll talk about some of the spell words if we have time.
Yeah.
to
Oh,
eliminate.
we have plenty of time. We have plenty of time.
Okay.
Okay, so the question I have is about hypnotherapy, because when you were talking about the subconscious, hypnotherapy supposed to go deep into the subconscious, especially if you use it when you go to sleep. I've been doing hypnotherapy, and I just wondered what you think about that.
Personally, hypnosis did not work for me.
Okay.
I've been a recording engineer for many, many years, and I've recorded some really incredible hypnotists, and because they appreciate how I ran my sessions and the energy I brought, they always offer me a free session. I'm like, sure. But for me, it doesn't work personally.
Oh.
What works for me is me programming my subconscious and tracking the frequency of every single thought, word, and belief and the emotion behind it all day long. And when you go through 30 days of this process and you start to track, and there's a daily tracking sheet where at the end of the night, you write down, how many times did I catch myself having a judgment, which is the biggest addiction on the planet. It's not drugs and alcohol. They're not even close to judgment. The 3D matrix is set up to make everybody be judgeaholics and automatic reactors. And if you're still judging anything and you feel justified, then the 3D matrix owns you. And you're not going to like that statement, but I'm all about, hey, do you want to awaken and be 100% responsible for the reality which you are creating? Nobody's doing anything to you. It's not the government.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, they are, but you can unplug from that and begin. 5D New Earth is already here.
Yes.
It's not somewhere else, and it's not in the future. It's a frequency. And I hang out with these people every day. And I'm also in Thailand, where people believe the television because they're very beautiful, heart-centered Buddhist people. And they don't believe that anybody would ever lie to them.
Oh.
So they're still wearing masks, and they've still got their kids believing that it's fearful to breathe in air. And even after they've had 3 or 4 jibby jabs and all these boosters, they're still in fear. I saw these beautiful children getting off a bus last week, wearing their uniforms, wearing their masks, some children wearing 2 masks. And then when they got off the bus, the teacher was spraying them with toxic chemicals and had them spin around and would spray them in front of all their friends. Be in fear, be in fear, be in fear, be in fear. You must be able to see the program and say, I'm a divine human being with an immune system. This is touchy subject because I'm not judging anybody that's done whatever they've done.
Right,
but
right.
You either believe and trust in your immune system or you don't.
I trust in my immune system. Okay, I have a question for you. I believe that everything that's in my movie, in my reality, is for me. I may not realize how it's for me or why it's for me, but it somehow, because hindsight always shows that it's for me, but I'm doing my best to see what it is right now. So why do you think that we're seeing this other play going on? I mean, is it for us to choose a better path for
Absolutely.
ourselves?
Most people are very complacent. Most people want to give their power away to somebody else, and hope, which is another spell word, and wish, which is another spell word, which tells you, we'll get into that, which tells your subconscious, your desire is still not here yet, still not here yet, still not here yet. They didn't teach us that the subconscious, I thought it was this big freaking mystery. Oh, the subconscious, I don't know how to get to it, and I don't know how to work with it. Subconscious, it's dead simple. Your desire is either here now or it's not. End of story. There's nothing to figure out. You either feel it, it's here now. Little children that have an imagination, they're not hoping and wishing and trying and needing. They're like, I'm flying on a rocket ship right now. I'm hanging out with the fairies. There's no limitations, 0, until either their parents or the school system, which was set up to squash their imagination, tells them, you need to sit down and pay attention and learn this because, okay? So it all comes down to, where is your frequency right now? And what are you attracting? Are you focusing on that which you don't desire? The government, the television, this, that. Your vibration's low, man. The matrix has you. Or do you wake up every day and go, oh my God, I get another day. I can't believe that these trillions of cells have been loving on me for over 50 years since I've been in the womb, through alcohol, drugs, motorcycle accidents, self-loathing, self-hatred, unworthiness, everything. And all they do is just love me, love me, love me in every moment. And so now I get to love on my body and thank it Now my frequency is going up while I'm smiling and loving on my body. First thing before those 50 to 80,000 thoughts start running. And now I'm going to consciously create my reality. So the perfect clients, abundance, the animals, the flowers, the food, everything just magnetically gets magnetized into my reality. Why? Because I'm matching the frequency with gratitude, joy, and excitement, my favorite word, the highest magnetic frequency. Look around. The majority, well, let's be very careful with my words here. Many people, words are powerful, many people are still just in automatic reactor mode. The television and the news knows how to do it, and they keep running the same thing. If you were to really consciously go back and look at every thing that they've thrown at us, I mean, you can go back to 9/11 and even before the birth certificate, where we were sold as slaves under the Royal British Crown with our birth certificate letters in capital letters, hello. I mean, people have known about this stuff for 50 plus years, but you can see the patterns in the programs that they keep doing. It's the same playbook over and over and over. So if you get triggered and you give in and you judge or you react or you allow yourself to go into fear, they own you. I know this isn't sugar-coated. It can't be, because you either get it and you're willing to accept responsibility for every single thing that showed up in your reality, or you're not. There's no middle ground. You can't blame anybody. You are a sovereign divine being. And to answer your question, and I know I move around, I have a lot of energy because I want to share, 50 years of downloads. The reason why it's becoming more and more intense is because that's what it takes to wake up a planet that has just decided to give away 65 years of the best years of their life to chase a dangling carrot, to pay fake taxes, to use vehicles that burn toxic fuels when there's free energy, there's free vehicles, everything's been squashed. We shouldn't be paying for land, rent, or anything else. Mother Earth is free. It was set up as free, and that's the way it was, and then it got hijacked. So at first, this may piss you off. But then you go, well, that frequency probably isn't going to serve me. So let's use the tools. Let me see if I were to spend 30 days listening to what this man is saying. He sounds a little crazy, Let me see if I were to use the tools, if my reality would change. And if you truly do, you'll go, oh my God, this is what they should have taught in school. And that's why we're creating the newer schools for children. I would never send my child into a school right now where it's fear-based. They're talking about trying to remove their gender, transgenderism, vaccine. I mean, it's diabolical. It's diabolical. And
Okay,
I couldn't.
So I'm going to
Okay.
stop you because, I think there's lots of good news. I'm working with the education
All good news.
reformer. And so there are people that are taking their personal life mission seriously, and they got the call. It's obvious it's showtime now. And so that's what I'm blessed. I get to work with so many of these amazing new leaders. So, but okay, so I would love if, because I definitely want to do the spell words towards the end, but
Okay.
I would love for you to explain or give us some examples of transformations that you've seen in your students. You've been doing this for quite some time and you've helped thousands of people. Could you give us a little insights so that people that maybe are listening that are on the fence of, I don't know if this will work for me, that maybe they'd get an insight from
Sure.
this.
Sure, and thank you for that.
Okay.
Out of the thousands of people that I've journeyed with one-on-one, there's only been 2 that didn't completely have their life transformed in every way. And the only reason was because they were still attached to their story of what their mom did or what their dad did or whatever happened to them. And they've been telling that story for so long that that's all they know. So in the waking up in the dream process, there's only 3 steps, and they're simple. Now the ego is going to go, oh, they're not simple. This is really blah, 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 blah. Just, I have everybody name their ego that goes through my course. My ego's name is Larry. Larry used to be addicted to judgment, fear, lack, worry, unworthiness, anger. And that's what he knew because that's what he was taught. And he did not know how to process his automatic reactions. So they kept building up inside of him, and they kept attracting and magnetizing in more situations, more like people, the wrong situations. And so when I saw that my belief system wasn't even mine, and yet everybody, every single person that I saw was either reacting and becoming triggered to anything that triggered their belief system. That's why they have Republican and Democrat. So everybody will be like this. Oh, I hate Trump. Oh, but you're sucked in. The matrix owns you. It's the same program over and over and over. You must unplug. And then people go, well, if I don't vote, the system's rigged. This is an area that I don't like to get into, but the system's rigged. You can unplug, and as I said earlier, the light is already won. But as long as you're sucked in and focused on that and your frequency's low, those are the timelines that you're going to experience. And people that are, successful business people focused on running business, they might not understand what I mean by a timeline. It's an event. It's like New Earth is already here. It's not somewhere else in the future. And people might go, well, what is New Earth? It's where everybody's peaceful. There's no judgment. There's no toxic hospitals, doling out nothing but poison. There's a natural herb and healing for everything. I know people in Thailand that beautiful, beautiful people that have cancer, and they're going in and they're having radiation, which is killing everything, everything. It's not a healing technology. So again, this can trigger a lot of people. What I can tell you is the light is already won. So number one thing is your beliefs, your belief system. If you're willing to go through this process and understand that all your beliefs came from outside of you, and you can start to catch the trigger every time you go, I don't like that, then you're going to start to dismantle it. If you don't, it's going to own you. And the first part of healing and becoming to where you can manifest anything into your reality is you must do the inner healing. It's real simple. Do you have anybody in your life or that's left this planet that you have yet to forgive 100%, including yourself? Not just a little bit, 100%. Because that person perfectly played their role on your agreed upon soul contract before you came down here. So I journey with people that have been raped, molested, MK ultra'd, tortured, everything. And then they go, wow, I chose that. I chose that. And when I was first told this concept, I was like, there's no way that I would have ever chosen this amount of pain and suffering in this life. And that's when I was suicidal. And then when I started to see how we create our reality, I was like, oh, I chose this so I could experience it, so I could understand it, so that I could assist other people, and I could heal it for myself and the entire collective. And that's what we're doing right now. We're healing thousands, if not millions of years of enslavement and woundedness based on separation when we came down into this reality. So the first piece is you must do the inner healing, and it's simple. I take people that they get on the first call with me on the journey, and their story is, my father abused me, my mom did this, she was an alcoholic, I got raped, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I understand that. Are you open to the possibility that that was part of your agreed upon soul contract so that you could heal that for yourself and the rest of the planet? Most everybody goes yes, because they signed up to do the journey. They're here to do it. They trust in me. I tell them, look, don't believe me. Don't believe yourself, like my teacher Miguel told me, but question everything. Is it a possibility? Because this is your get out of hell free card. You either go, what is the gift here? Which is one of my favorite 5-word mantras. What is the gift here? Or you're a victim for the rest of your life. And when somebody goes, okay, how can I turn this around and go around and help other women that have been abused or sexually assaulted or whatever? Now you just turned your trauma into a healing gift for the entire collective. So again, is there anybody in your field, memory field, that you have yet to forgive 100%? Because if you haven't, it's affecting your magnetic field, and you're still going to attract people with that like frequency in life and relationships into your field, because it's the law of attraction. It's a law. You are a walking, talking, vibrating magnet in every single moment. You know, you see men and women and they're like, how come I keep attracting the same guy or the same woman in relationships over and over and over? It's because you're holding the less than, the wound, the not worthy or whatever in your subconscious. The subconscious is the magnet. It doesn't matter how many affirmations you do or pray, oh God, please send me the right guy. I'm not saying that prayer isn't powerful, but if you're praying to somebody outside yourself, hoping they're going to throw you a bone, then you don't understand that you are the divine creator of it all. So yeah, I journey into some little touchy subjects here, but you know, I've tested them out, and all I can tell you is these tools work, and they work quicker than anything else I've ever found.
Okay, so I have a question. As far as I've done processes like this, I haven't done your process yet, but I've done processes like this in Avatar. I took I took 5 courses for Harry Palmer's Avatar, and it was fabulous.
Awesome.
And my question is, from that, it seems like healers have trouble healing themselves. So I'm assuming that that's true about lots of things for humans, that we can't see our own constructs. How do you help us? Because you're saying, what you just said is you help when you explain, when somebody talks about their story, their experiences, that you help them figure out the blessing of it, or come to peace about it.
What is the gift?
Release the suffering anyway.
Yes. Yep.
So can you do this for yourself?
I want to,
course.
these are beautiful questions. I love you so much. I'm so honored to be on here. I want to just say that to some people, I might come off as an arrogant know-it-all or something. I want to make it really clear that I know nothing, that I've been through some deep, deep shit, and it was part of my soul contract. And I will not claim that I'm 100% healed and I have all my stuff together. There is so much unknown. We're in nursery school.
Right.
There's people out there going, oh, I'm awake, I'm awake. You know what that usually means? I just figured out that the government's lying to us, and every institution was set up to lie to us. Okay, that's great, but there's way more. Okay,
right.
So I get some issues in my body. Sometimes I have anxiety. As you can tell, I'm a very energetic guy. So I don't know if I'm completely healed. What I do again is I follow frequency. I listen to my body. When it tells me something's up, or I have a trigger, or I feel uncomfortable, like some days I might feel like, dude, you're full of shit. You're supposed to be Mr. Waking Up in the Dream, and you just got triggered because these gnats came in and landed on your granola. You know, I don't get pissed around other people or at people anymore. But sometimes if I've been working on my computer for 6 or 8 hours with 4 different time zones in 6 different countries, and all of a sudden something freezes, and I can get pissed.
Yeah,
okay.
of course.
So then that's when I feel the frequency and I go, oh, looks like somebody needs to take a break.
Well, what I was asking is how easy it is for you to work on yourself with these processes, because I've taken a lot of healing classes, and I do energy stuff. I am energy. So I just wondered if your processes, if you figured out a way to make it easier for you to use the tools on yourself, because everybody can see everybody else's stuff, but it's really hard to see your stuff.
Perfect point. Perfect point. I love the way you lead. You're awesome. Okay. So a huge part of the 30-day journey, which continues for the rest of your lives until you finally realize that you're it. You're the divine creator of everything. Oh my God. Wow. How wonderful is self-love. That's why the healing process is the first part of the process on the very first call. It's the very first part in the book or the digital online course. You must be able to love on yourself no matter all the stupid stuff Jeff's done, everything I named off, drugs, alcohol. I used to punch myself in the face when I looked in the mirror. Want to get real vulnerable? I'll get real vulnerable and honest here. I grew up in the Catholic Church. As a young boy growing up without a father, your hormones start to go. At some point, somebody shows you a Playboy magazine or something that they got from underneath their dad's bed or out in the garage or whatever. You start to see all this hidden stuff that you're not supposed to look at. Your hormones start to go off. Young boys get into masturbation. Let's just be honest about it. Young women do too. In the Catholic Church, guess what you're taught? You're going to hell for 1,000,000 lifetimes if you masturbate or look at naked pictures of the opposite sex. They purposely set it up so that you will fall, and then they put you in guilt. I grew up in the Catholic Church. I was an altar boy until the 9th grade. There's more pedophilia, child sacrifice, and satanic worship going on in the churches and religions than most people care to admit. Oh my God, I'm switching this guy off. Okay, whatever. Are you here to awaken and heal the planet, or are you here to be in denial? Okay, so I used to punch myself in the face in the mirror after I would masturbate because I believed I was going to hell, because that's what I was taught by the angry, pissed off nuns that were angry every single day. And even in 2nd grade, I knew something was wrong. I'm like, something's wrong. There's something wrong here. This is not love. They're talking about love, but there's no love here. Okay, so I was aware and awake even when I was a little kid, but I didn't know what the terms were. So just to share my vulnerability in the most honest and naked way I can, I used to punch myself in the face as hard as I could, because I thought if I did that, maybe I wouldn't be punished and put into hell for 1,000 lifetimes for doing what the human body naturally does. And an orgasm is one of the most energetic, freeing, and beautifully powerful things when done in a sacred space. Not necessarily looking at a Playboy magazine, but you know, when they hide it from you and they tell you you're not, they're perfectly setting, this is all set up, man, to really harm men and women. Okay, so let's cut to the chase. Self-love. It's one of the most important parts of the program and the course. And it's the one piece that most people resist the most. The women are more open to doing it because of the feminine divine. The men, you know, I deal with men in Ireland and Scotland and the UK, and they're taught, be a man, don't be a pussy. And that's why men have more heart attacks than women, because they have difficulty getting in touch with their heart and really expressing what's really going on. And so this is why it's so key to have men's groups and women's groups and things like that. So to finish off, a process, daily process that I invite everybody to do, and this will tell you right away how much you love yourself, is to look in the mirror and go. And then listen to everything that comes back. Because if you don't love yourself, Larry will go, you don't love yourself. You screwed up. You did all this. You did all this stupid shit. You did drugs. You did alcohol. But I love you. I love you. I love you. That was all part of my soul journey. I love you. I love you. And you do not leave the mirror until your I love you is a 10. And if you cannot do that, then just be honest with yourself and know that there's more healing to be done. It's not difficult. You may need to cry. I get on calls, usually on the first call, we cry, we shed tears. And the first thing somebody does, because they were taught to, is to be ashamed of having tears. They reach up, They wipe their tear away. And then what do? They apologize. I go, don't apologize. We're healing. We're meeting the little child inside that got squashed and got told that it wasn't okay. And let's let that out. And I can always tell by the way they tell me their story in the first 5 minutes where to go with my questioning and mirroring. And I can just see that it's starting to come up and it's starting to come up. And I'm like, it's safe. It's safe here. Let's do it. So it's very key. So self-love. Do it every single morning when you're brushing your teeth, when you get out of the shower, when you're brushing your hair to make sure you look good enough to go do what you're going to do. And, so, and listen to all those programs and notice how Larry wants to look for the gray hair and the hair thinning and he doesn't like the glasses and the wrinkles. And I love you. I love you. And I personally play with reversing aging every single morning when I wake up and my head's still on the pillow and I talk to every one of my cells. I love you. I love you. I love you. And I go, DNA fully activated because our DNA got hijacked. And the people that set up all the programs, they had all their DNA. So they knew how to create all these programs to have everybody reacting in separation and not feeling worthy and in lack. So did I answer that? So
Yes.
The moral of the story is do self-love exercises every morning and every evening. And every time you look in the mirror, you're looking in your car view mirror, rear view mirror at a traffic light, I love you. And see what comes back, because what comes back won't lie. And that'll tell you where your abundance and worthiness meter is. So if you're not attracting money or magic into your life every day or the right relationship, it's not because of something out there. This is all about honesty and being vulnerable.
Right.
Those are our two greatest strengths.
Right.
It's very powerful to go, I know nothing and I'm willing to learn. I know nothing and I'm willing to learn, but I'm going to pay attention to my frequency and my thoughts and how I tell my story. Because the majority of people, and I'll finish with this, the majority of people are talking more about what they don't like instead of what they love and what they're grateful for. And because you're a walking, talking magnet in every moment, guess what you're going to attract more of? More of what you don't like, more of how you're telling your story of who did you wrong and who's doing wrong. And it's a mirror, it's a hologram. And when you learn it and the light bulb goes off, you'll go, oh my God, this is how they keep everybody trapped. Yes. And then you'll start to tell your friends and they'll go, you're crazy. And you'll go, okay, you're not ready yet. I love you. I love you. I love you. And you won't judge. You'll just go, oh, there's somebody else and I love them. Because if you judge them for not being awake, then you just lowered your frequency and you lost again. And now you got to get back on the bike. So again, the number one mantra to carry every day throughout your day is, isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting?
That's wonderful. Okay, so that's fabulous. The reason I totally get what you're saying about forgiving yourself is I've had the great fortune of interviewing a lot of near-death experiencers, and the story, and I've read a lot of books, and the stories that most of them tell is that when they went to the other side, they judged themselves. God, there isn't a guy up in on a throne with a big beard like that's depicted in the Old Testament that gets pissed off and kills everybody. Instead, they get to see and then see what they learned from it and see how it affected everyone else. And so it's a learning experience. It isn't a shameful, painful experience. And even when they're watching it, they're not in pain. They're in pure love for the creation. So that's that. I just wanted to share that because that Beautiful. I think would help people realize that the good, the devil on one side and the angel on other, that's talking to each other and wasting all your energy, that doesn't need to be there anymore. Yep. It's a total waste.
It's really a beautiful key piece. Thank you for sharing that. It's really about, this must have been part of my soul contract because it happened. Oh. Now you could say, well, what about people that rape people and murder people and stuff? Well, if we've lived unlimited amount of lifetimes, which I can't prove, but apparently our energy never dies. So we journey everywhere we want to go and do what we want to do. We've more than likely probably been the murderer, the rapist, the thief, the deceiver. And so you might come back. Maybe you were your father's father in a previous lifetime and you did that to them. You don't know. The
Right.
bottom line is to get out of hell is to go, what is the gift here? And if I can make amends and heal this, then that's what I'm going to do.
Yes, yes.
Super, super key.
Okay, so thank you, because I think that acceptance of self, love of self, forgiveness of self is just a huge part of this.
Everything.
And realizing that the field we're in is unlimited, infinite possibilities, it's infinite intelligence. And if we could release all of these constructs, we can play in it. That's what you're saying with all the dots behind you and jumping. So we have a little bit of time left, and I didn't know if you wanted to go through the spells, because
Absolutely.
I think
Absolutely.
that would be a great tool for everyone. And thank you, Jeff. This has just been fantastic. I know it's going to help a lot of people.
I'm so grateful to be here. And I feel, as I speak, I feel like I'm maybe pushing, poking a little bit too much, but you know what? You got to wake up and you must become 100% responsible for everything that you've created in your life. And these are the tools. I mean, I went through so many courses that I hoped were going to, change my life, and they didn't. And when I finally studied with Miguel for about 10 years, and then I spent another 7 years before I wrote the book. I never planned on writing a book. I've been a recording engineer, guitar guy all my life, nature boy. I just started downloading the tools, and I'm like, what must I continue to do so I don't keep falling back into these traps? Because I would do okay for a while, and then I'd get caught up again into the judgments and the reactions and the self-loathing and the triggers and the lack and the fear and the worry and the doubt. And I'm like, man, you must begin to create your reality every single morning, first thing, even if you have to set your alarm a half hour or hour earlier. Because if you don't, you're going to wake up and go, okay, I got to get up. I got to get the kids ready for school. I got a half hour to jump in the shower before I got to get in traffic. Oh, I got to check my email. I got to, blah, blah, blah. And you're just doing the same thing day in and day out. I'm not saying that's bad if you have a great life, but I'm telling you, there's way, 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 way more than this 9 to 5 thing. And this is what we're seeing dissolve right now. People are not going to have to go to a job for 65 years so they can retire and hope that they can then begin to live their life. Maybe you'll go work in the community garden for a couple hours, a couple days a week, where everything's organic. There's free energy. There's no more cars polluting. It's coming. It's already here. So let's talk about spell words, because I hear almost everybody use them every single day. And it's not their fault, because it was put into spelling, so they don't realize what it's doing. But what these 10 words are doing are they're telling the subconscious, they're giving it a direct instruction that the desire is either not here yet, so that's what the subconscious creates in your reality, or that it's difficult and it's hard and it's a struggle. And these are the words that people use every single day without even realizing it. So they're doing affirmations and everything. And then all day long, they're using these words that tell their subconscious, my desire is still not here yet, or it's difficult. So the subconscious goes, okay, that desire is still not here yet, and let's make it difficult. Let's make it hard. So these spell words, and I invite you to write them down or come back and watch the recording of this. They're hope, wish, want, need, try, going to. I got them written down. Difficult, hard, should. And they all tell the subconscious your desire is either not here yet, or that it's hard and difficult. And begin to pay attention to what people are speaking when they speak. Oh, I really need to do that. I should. I'm going to try. There's nothing wrong with saying that over the next 10 months, I'm going to build my business up to focus on the children's school system or whatever. But when you awaken in the morning and you go to create your reality, you already see the school system. They're done, man. The children are running around. They only go to school for 1 or 2 years. They learn what an emotional reaction is. And then they learn that their thoughts, their words, their imagination, their beliefs, and the frequency or excitement that they put behind that creates their reality. There is no reason to ever go to school again for 12 or 16 or 20 years. If they want to learn a specific thing like natural healing medicine, architecture, healing animals, whatever, then they can take a specific course for maybe a year or two. But this whole school system of programming children with what to think and stealing and squashing their imagination is diabolical. It's over. So all good news, all good news. May get a little intense here over the next couple months. You can see it's happening. But if you can become the conscious observer and go, okay, I know I came here for this. I mean, if you look around,
Yeah.
this has never happened in recorded history, ever. And we came here for this out of thousands of years of lifetimes. So really, it's time to get my favorite word, excited. It's the
Yes.
highest frequency, excited, joyful, gratitude. Be compassionate of others that still can't see yet. And
Yes.
understand that if you judge anybody, you just lowered
Well,
your frequency.
it's when you're pointing your finger at somebody, those other fingers are all pointing back at you.
Yep.
So it's a match. If you have someone in your field that is doing something you don't like, you have to kind of look at what attracted it.
Yeah. So everybody's our teacher and our
Yep.
mirror. The external hologram is a mirror to the frequencies we're holding. It's easy to love and appreciate people that we like.
Yes.
The ego goes, oh, I like that. Why do we like people? Because it lines up with our belief system of how somebody should be. Oh, I used to like you, but now you did one thing that I don't like, so now I don't like you. Everybody's our mirror. So here's one thing though. Anything less than love is unacceptable in my life and relationships. So never accept abuse. But if somebody's triggering you, they're your greatest teacher.
Right.
Always ask, what is the gift here? Because if you don't get it and you judge them, you're going to have to relearn that over and over and over and over. And since there's no such thing as time, the soul's evolution is patient. It's like, oh, we'll just send them another opportunity. And it could be next week, or it may not be for a year or 10 years.
No.
So it's like, always own your triggered reactions and go, okay, this is about me. Okay, I got triggered, man. I thought I cleared that.
That's what I'm saying. I really think that this whole, if you go with the perspective that everything is here for you, and it may not be obvious what it is, then you have the opportunity to look at something that's uncomfortable or that triggers a bad memory, and then play with it. But you can't. I think what's the Buddhists say suffering is optional, and that's what you're saying also. That you have a course, you have a book that can guide people through deciding to not suffer anymore.
Yeah, and it's not a bad thing to have a trigger. A trigger is just our emotional response system getting our attention. You know, what steals our life force is when we're talking about something that happened 9 years ago and we still haven't got, or 50 years ago, or even last week, or when you hear somebody say, I'm having a really bad day. 99 times out of 100, they had one moment where they got triggered and they didn't use the tools and stop and take a breath and go, okay, I just got triggered. Ooh, what is this trying to show me or teach me about me?
Perfect.
No, the emotional reaction ran all day. So Larry's just feeding off of it going, God, they always do that. And then you go to the hair salon and, you know, the men or the women are talking about, you know, my husband died. And everybody's just feeding more of what they don't want. And they're magnetizing more of it to them. So when you learn to track the frequency which is what this process teaches you how to do, the frequency of every single thought, word, and emotion, it's going to shift your entire reality. It
Right.
has to.
Right.
It has to.
It's
So to me, there's a conscious awareness is the only game in town.
right.
It is.
And I think
It's
the
fun.
reason I was so excited about having you on is I really see this opportunity as a the opportunity to learn from you, or to read your book, or to take your course, be in one of your groups, is an opportunity to really finally bust through the matrix, bust through the conditioning that our parents taught us because they thought it was the way to happiness. They loved us so much, they tried to point us in the right direction, but they didn't find happiness either. So it's time to break the cycle. So Jeff, how can people get a hold of you? Because we're pretty much at the end of our show.
So the website is portal2awakening.com, PORTALTO, instead of the number, portal2awakening.com. The YouTube channel is youtube.com/portal2awakening. All the videos on there are free. You know, it's interesting that when things are free, people don't tend to go as deep. And I find it fascinating. But when somebody comes and invests in doing the one-on-one mentorship with me, I mean, I work with single moms, and I also work with CEOs of big companies, and they've been taught to go and drive and, you know, quarterly reports, and they're not happy, and they have a lot of money, and they're driving the latest Mercedes in their home, and they're just like, I'm stressed, my body's giving out on me, I'm not connected with my children, I'm miserable. And I thought that's what was going to, that's what I was taught was going to bring me happiness. I'm waiting to retire. And a lot of times these people leave, they just cut the ties, and they're like, I'm out of there, it's not worth it. But when somebody invests in themselves, it's interesting that they tend to put a little bit more time and effort into it.
Yes, yes.
So money isn't really a bad thing. It's fake. But when it comes to committing to something, there's an upside to it, you know?
Well, again, this is, if people really want to live a life of love and joy and co-create with the universe at a high level, they would benefit tremendously from the things you're offering. They would benefit. Now, I did the Avatar course and spent a fortune. I mean, a lot of money. And I didn't know about you then. It was 18 years ago.
Yeah, I
So
paid a
it's like
lot of money too, a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I
So
was just a single guy living in recording studios for 27 years, but I spent well over 6 figures, and my mentorship is nowhere near that.
right.
I do my best not to turn anybody away, but also once you go through this course, you will never, ever speak about lack ever again. You won't do it.
Yes, Dick.
And that may be difficult to understand because the programming of money is so strong. But once you see it and you understand that I'm either in gratitude and I create my reality and it begins to magically show up, it's not magic. It's your magnet with you setting your intention, your thoughts, your words, and your vibration. You just go, oh my God, why didn't they teach this to us? Well, because they wanted to control you, so you'd pay them zillions of dollars in taxes, give them a free ride in all their corporations, and go along with the plan.
Well,
but that gig is up now, so it's
it
all
is.
good news. It's
It
time
is.
to get excited, people. It's time to get excited. Nobody can touch you when you're excited,
The other thing
except
is
other people.
the game. This is a game, and there's a game of life, and there's a way to play it. And Jeff can help you play it so that you will have a much more creative and delightful experience. So Jeff, thank you
you so much. And
so
we have
much.
fun doing it. It's not all intense and hard and difficult. It's fun. You can
That's
actually see the program. You can go, wow, I can't believe I've been doing that for 60, 70, 80 years. And once you see it, it begins to be dismantled. It might come up a few more times, but once you begin to use the tools, it's gone. It
Right.
can't sustain itself. So thank you for being such a wonderful beacon of light and
Oh,
such a great host. And I just intend that a lot of what I shared got downloaded into somebody to at least pique their interest
I'm
or
sure, I'm
get
sure
them
it
to want
does.
to come and do the journey.
I'm sure, I'm sure, I'm sure. And I recommend everyone, I mean, get the book if, you know, get the book, get a feel for what the value of the freedom from the matrix could be to your
Yeah.
life. You are so powerful. Create a divine existence, create love in the world, create peace. There's the opportunity is unlimited.
Yeah, beautiful. We are so powerful. We've just, number one, been taught that we're not, we forgot. And number two, we've been taught that if we believe we're powerful, that's ego and it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing when you're in your heart and you go, how can I share my gifts to benefit the all? Because we're all connected. That's when you can be unlimited, and you are that. So
perfect. Thank you, thank you, thank
thank you
you.
so much, dear one. All right.